Haha, can you hear me now? One moment. Can you all hear me now? One sec. Ah, brilliant, we're sorted. Okay. Nice. So, as I was saying, as you probably didn't hear at all, because here we are. This is the first time I've ever done a proper live stream all by myself. I've been on with Simone and the Head Gasket Heroes, and I did a live stream years ago when I used to do a lot of computer stuff. So, hello everybody. Hello Stuart. Hello Simone. Hello Automobile Education. Hello Paul. Hello everybody. So, I'm hoping really we can just really do sort of a bit of a hangout and a few sort of questions really. So I'm trying to sort of get my way around all of this. So this might be a bit terrible for a first live stream, but let's see. Hello Matthew, nice to see you. Hello Stuart from Gainsborough, very close to where I'm from, which is Scunthorpe. Paul, from New Zealand, very far away from where I'm from, which is Scunthorpe. So, in general, really, what I was going to do is just sort of have a look round a few things. Hi there, Andy. Nice to see you here. So, in general, really, there's just been a lot of random questions that I've been having, especially from a few guys in the emails. So, a guy emailed me the other day. Yes, Matthew, that's right, yeah. Scunthorpe, Vere Hall, two of the economic powerhouses of North Lincolnshire. So, some guy messaged me the other day via the email and said that there was a pit behind Cowley where apparently they used to bury cars. So let's debunk this immediately. Where's the... I bet I'm going to get some terrible advert. Watch me get like an advert like singles in your area or something. Yeah, so quickly, if we just look at this. This is Plant Oxford. Yeah, there's no pit there. So he said it was in the 1980s, so it's a bit dubious for me whether or not needed to be a bit... Yeah, I don't think so. There's a lot. The thing is with all of this stuff, right, is because nobody... What I've found is not many people actually sort of speak to the workers. They sort of just go on, on these reports of the time and stuff like that. You'll find that there'll be a lot of these crazy rumours made up. For example, in the 90s, where they were talking about how Rover Group was, how Rover Group, just before BMW, so British Aerospace, was nearly bankrupt. That's untrue because they completely had turned it around. I wonder if that was written by AI. Well, we'll get to that. Matthew has asked, well, first Simone. Yep, nearly there. I think I'm like 30 off. So I don't tend to pick up many numbers. You can see an advert of a lady there. We'll get rid of that before I get absolutely destroyed by YouTube. So, yeah, that's brilliant. I'm eternally grateful. It's been absolutely fantastic. I was thinking the other day, and I was looking at some of my old pictures. It's absolutely amazing. Looking at let's just go onto the tube here. Let's find me. Find me on here. So I was looking at this the other day. I know it seems a bit big-headed, but I tend to looking at my older stuff. I mean, who remembers this? Who remembers this? Not boots. Wait for this. It's good I'm getting a boots ad though. Oh, injury lawyers for you. Come on. Who remembers this? This stonking video. We're not going to have any sound. But who remembers that? What a video this was. I mean, the panning was awful. The haircut was even worse. The haircut was bloody awful. But here we are. And we'll have that on in the background as a bit of background video while I answer a few questions. So Matthew has asked, how is the Range Rover? It's absolutely fantastic. The only problem is when I put my foot down going up a hill, it goes transmission range change not available, and then it does nothing. It just says that, locks me out of all the special programs, and I can't do anything. Yeah, so that's fine though. I'm not really, don't need the, I don't need any of the of those anyway for normal driving. Stuart though, quickly, because he's got to nip out in a minute. Are you planning any meets this year or attending any events? I'll be at Pride of Longbridge. I'm always there. I wouldn't miss that for anything, especially with it being the 20th anniversary of the plant closing down. So on the 8th of April this year. And I'll be probably at the BMC and Leyland show. I'll be at all the Rustivals. So yeah, I'll be all in those places though. If you wanna meet up there, I'm one of those people. You can sort of talk to me. Just walk over and have a chat. Really, I enjoy meeting everybody, and a lot of people as well share some brilliant old stories. So yeah, Stuart, I'll probably see you at some point if you attend any of those. So another question. Let's just have a look through here. God, it's very, very. And let's have a look. Am I missing Daily the 75? Yes, I'm missing Daily in the 75 a bit. To be honest with you, it's how to describe it. So let's see if you ever look at this video, and yeah, I look absolutely tiny there, and old and young, and I'm now old and well weathered. So yeah, there's a bit, I miss it from a nostalgia point of view. I mean, if we were to look at, I don't know, this video here, this is a good old video. I don't know why there's that going on there. This video, this was really like, I'm incredibly passionate about the Rover 75 because it just really didn't get the, what it deserved. It just, and it's such a fantastic car. I mean, this video was amazing. I absolutely loved filming this. This took 2 months to film, and look at that lockdown haircut. What a state. I actually sold this what you call it there that I was wearing. I need another one of those for a project I'm working on. So if you guys know anybody that has one of those and is willing to sell it, let me know, because I definitely would like to buy it or borrow it if you can borrow people's clothes. Yeah, the 75, of course I miss it. I loved it to pieces and I still love it. Let's go to this, where's the holiday video? If we just go to the holiday video on here. So this, to me, what attaches you to a car is the experiences you have with it and in it. Again, me looking extremely young there. So this video was on my epic holiday across Europe. So this is the reason why I bought this car. And I kind of bought it for a bit of a laugh, but then I was told, it's going to blow up, it's going to be awful, you're going to hate it, it's an old man car, all this sort of stuff. But then I took it to Europe, and as you can see by the pictures on here, I had such a great time in it. Through thick and thin, the car has been incredible. A Boots advert. How do people? That's why I have YouTube Premium. Sorry, injury lawyers for you, ruining the. I would ideally do this on mine, but you'll see my searches. Yeah, and this picture really caps it off for me. It really is against all odds with the 75. I was told it was going to be awful. It was going to be the worst car in the world, and I really did gel with it, and I still have it now. So it doesn't have an MOT at the moment, so on the 75. So what I need to do is I need to replace the brake pipe on one side, replace the brake hose that goes to it, because no doubt that will round off the minute I try to take it off. And then I also have a few little spots on the rear arms. I'm not sure if it's going to be that bad, but let's see. The interior also needs a bit of a refresh. The door cards, you guys probably know if you're owners of 75s, the door cards pop off right on the top, and it really does get on my nerves. So you'll drive it and it'll just rattle like crazy. Mine's on 172,000. So yeah, she's getting on a bit. But the BMW diesel, the M47R, and all the the guys that screwed this sucker together, they did a fantastic job. So, and I'm still getting sand out of it thanks to Rachel and her trip she took in it before she sold it to me. She left a little bit of sand in it because she went to the beach with the dogs. So I'll just have a look at this. So Simone has asked, Tom, is there an Austin BMC BL explanation to why they used the letter M so much? Was it planned? Is there a story to it? Are you referring to things like Montego, Maestro, all that sort of stuff, or is it something else? So we'll come back to that one. Will I ever make any Reliant videos? Yes, I'll be making videos on all sorts. So I will eventually start to, once my work life stabilizes, I'll start to put extra stuff in, because if you guys remember, I was on, I think it was something like 2 videos a week, but the issue I've kind of got is the quality of the videos has changed quite drastically, so there's so much editing involved now in these videos, and then what will basically happen is that these videos will just snowball into, I've got to try this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. So yeah, eventually I will. I'd like to learn a lot more about it. Simone, I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think it just sounded good. And I think for the Montego, Maestro and Metro, I think it was more of a family approach. I'll be speaking to some people from Austin Rover of the time in the coming months, so I will ask that question. That is a good question, so I'm going to quickly copy that. I've seen all sorts in relation to... I'm just going to copy that onto a notepad, Simone, so I can ask. So I've seen all sorts in relation to things like branding templates, what a British Leyland shop front should look like for a store, all the internal stuff, and it is so fascinating to watch and look at. It is really, really, really cool, because you just get to see, like me in my job now, I see that from the back end of my job. So when I see it from British Leyland, something that I love the internal side of it, what it was like working there, the Rover Group certificates I've been sent where they have the certificate of quality assurance and the Rover large car quality model and all this sort of stuff. It just fascinates me how good some of it was back in the day. So, and it's a bit of a lost world, I think. Automobile Education asks, aside from British cars, are there any other cars you are interested in? Yes. I absolutely adore Italian cars. German cars have always been quite interesting. I'm an absolute big Mercedes fan. I went to the Mercedes-Benz Museum actually with this car. Is there any pictures in here? No, there isn't, so we'll change the background. I went to the Mercedes-Benz Museum in this car, and it was absolutely incredible. Really, really loved it. The thing is with Mercedes, and I'll put this as plainly as possible, they didn't gloss over any of their history. So when I went to the Porsche Museum, there was a big gap in their history, whereas in Mercedes, they were very true to their origin and what they did, and and things like that. The Porsche Museum, again saying this at my sort of level, it was a little bit dishonest. The Mercedes Museum was very honest, and it had everything there that you could dream of in terms of Mercedes. You had Princess Diana's SL, you had everything. And it was really, really cool, and it was so well done. But it wasn't as good as the British Motor Museum. So we'll always be the biggest fans of the British Motor Museum. But on cars, yep, I've got a Fiat Coupe. I absolutely adore that. That is my favourite car ever. In fact, I'll go on here and I'll probably show you it. So I've had a few. I mean, this was my old Mercedes. This was literally the world's weirdest challenge video. So this is when before we're going on a bit of a tangent here, but I hope I'm not boring you all to death. So yeah, so I'll quickly. So this is the Mercedes video, and let's just put it at this. So I bought this Mercedes A-Class at 19 because obviously I thought I was when you're 19, you think you're the dog's bollocks with stuff like this. So I bought this Mercedes as a bit of good Mercedes. Obviously, it's an A-Class with a Renault K9K engine. Regardless of the fact, I thought I was the CEO of life, and I love this car to pieces. So I drove it to Switzerland. This is the first time I've ever been abroad, by the way. You know, I'm not from a family that goes abroad or anything like that. I'm from Scunthorpe. You know, I don't. You know, we're just to put it bluntly, didn't go abroad or anything like that. Read between the lines with that one, as you will. So I bought this car, drove to Switzerland in it, and this started my love affair really with Mercedes. And they got nicked. It broke my heart and made me very sad. But then here's the Fiat. This was the Fiat way back when. Then I had another green coupe. And then this. Well, then again, no, this isn't really how it looks now. But yeah, the Fiat's doing really well, Simone, because my garage is flooded. So basically, somebody has done some development. My garage is now flooded, which has delayed my project 2600, and the the Fiat has had a good dousing of sand. So we are currently in discussions about getting that resolved. So yeah, it's very annoying. Yeah, Matthew, I've had a few cars stolen, to be honest with you. So that Fiat, believe it or not, this one, so way back when, we used to have a Fiat 500, my Mercedes, and this Fiat. This Fiat was away for, This was away for its timing belt being changed. I took it to the world's, I wouldn't say it was dodgy, but I took it to a garage. And what happened was, I'm getting a bit bored of these Boots adverts now, aren't you? Yeah, so I took it to a garage, had it all. Let's just move that on. Took it to a garage. Oh, this is annoying me. Right, we're gonna have to figure some. In fact, let's just. I'm just gonna do this, guys, just so it's display capture. I have to apologise for one moment. I'll get rid of that because I absolutely hate adverts. Let's have a look at this. I'll put my display capture back on. Right, let's wait for it to come back up. I'm just going to make sure you guys can all see it before I carry on ranting and raving. Hey, there we go. It's just loading now. There we are. Right. So, yeah, I had the Fiat. It was way getting its cam belt changed. We used to have this here, this Fiat 500. So I had basically, without going too far into it, keys got nicked from the house, and then luckily the Fiat was in the garage getting its timing belt done. I got my Fiat back, and I basically chased these two cars with Katie, who's my partner, chased these around Sheffield. We eventually found the Fiat and we stole it back. We stole the Fiat back. So that was really funny. But the Rover was long gone. And we could probably go into this in a later stream. But basically what happened is the Rover was... The Mercedes, was long gone. And somebody... They basically stripped it. Have you not... Matthew, have you not seen the Rover Vitesse series? So I had a lot of trouble with that. So I'll show you this video. So I went outside... and there was a few guys looking like were having a good snowball fight. Turns out this was where I used to live. They were stealing my car. So it's funny to laugh about it now, but it was awful. Awful. And this was a catalyst. Yeah, so you see there, they couldn't get into it. So they're like, yeah, I know what I'll do. I'll bend the door. But she held strong. She held strong. She stayed alive. And she stayed where she was. And I was so pleased with her. Because she just survived these absolute yobbos trying to nick it. And then afterwards, as Simone mentioned, I'll just go back. This is the lucky part about YouTube. And being a guy that makes videos. Because... you've got all your stuff ready. Let's find it. Yeah, so somebody... So I was... This is obviously the Vitesse. This is one of my dream cars. I'd got it. I'd parked it on the road. It got a lot of attention, to say the least. So I had that. I had an Austin Maestro at the time. And somebody was filming... Somebody filmed it up the street, but that was pretty unrelated. Anyway, so what happened is somebody stole my catalyst. So this was one of the very early ones, being 91. It was a catalyst. I think it was optional at the time. Hi there, Mike. With Lucy, the Morris Minor. But yeah, somebody went underneath it and stole my catalyst. And there's a bit. Hold on, sorry guys. As I've reached the tender age of 27, sorry, I've really started failing at using YouTube. There you go. So that's the sill. Let's go back. That's the sill. Destroyed. So that was ruined. I then tried my hardest to keep my hands on it, but it just became so cost prohibitive, and because of there was a situation surrounding this car. It was a bit sad at the time, and I just needed to sell it. So I ended up selling her on, and she's apparently waiting to be restored somewhere. So that was another one that nearly got nicked. Funnily enough, though, they went actually in the video for this car, and if you look at my project series on this, I mean, you got to see, like, I got it and it looked a bloody state. Drove that 325 quid that was all the way from Wales on some of the best roads I'd ever been on. That's just me with some hay fever, looking like an emo boy. Yeah, I drove it all the way back from Wales. It looked awful, and I mean awful. Look at that. I took a picture of my Range Rover next to that exact place when we went on holiday for the New Year. I love Wales. But yeah, so I bought her, did so much work to her, like it was unbelievable. It was all shoestring work, so it's all like very much on a shoestring. So everything was done, and this is like to my discredit. This was not safe. Don't do this. It's not safe. So we got it all working. Did all the restored stuff, blah, 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 blah. So this video is pretty much like just me putting it all together. Then this video, you got... so I lived on a road and I had no blooming driveway, right? So what I used to do is I had all these cars parked down the bottom. And the Vitesse, I'd take a wheel off, like legitimately took a wheel off at a time, left it on thingies, and then just sat there refurbishing each wheel. up in my little tiny garden. So I did that with each one, wrapped them around and stuff. You can see I was using Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was using Yu-Gi-Oh cards to do it. And I picked my least favourite Yu-Gi-Oh cards to do it. Gosh knows why, but here we are. So yeah, I did all that. And then I absolutely ruined the roof. So if we just move on. So I tried to respray a roof under, yeah, I mean that's a state. So I tried to respray the roof underneath basically some, what was it? Underneath a load of trees. So that was epic and horrible, absolute bodge job. And then I did the sills. I painted the sills on the side of the road. I changed the brake caliper on the side of the road. Oh, it's so funny. Look at it all. It's awful. What kind of guy does this? But that was what it was like at the time. It's just like I love cars. I had no way to, really do it. So I was like, I tell you what, I will do this at the side of the road and, sod anyone else. Oh, and this is the epic video where I went right to the back. I went on it and there was a wasp in the car. So, I mean, if you look at how that thing started off, let's just go to... That was how it started off. And that was what I got it to. On the side of the road. This was like my own... This was my own personal Everest summit, this. Look at that. She's gorgeous. And hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Hours of just taking things off, walking them up the stairs. And these stairs were steep, they were like this. Walking them up the stairs, all bumper, carrying it up, doing all the stuff you needed to do, taking it back down again when it was dry, bolting it on. And I did that with everything. Every single thing I did that with. I can remember I did the keyhole method on, this was cool. Yeah, this is the one where I do all the bumpers. So I'll just show you the bumpers and then we'll move on. Yeah. So this is from an F-Reg Vitesse. And I did, this is in my little garden. And you can see I filled in the, where is it? You can see there where, I mean that filler job on there, I'm sorry guys, but that is the best you've ever seen. Look at that beauty. So I did that. And I did all the filler, everything, and I basically then, I mean, you can probably see my arse in this. Oh my god, that shows how long I've had this here. You probably saw this in the last video if you watched it. The bus seat, as people keep calling it. So I took it all to pieces on there, messed about with it. This was back in the day where, I was just... I am just some guy, but some dude. You can see there where I've absolutely truly cocked up. Look at all that. Oh, how epic is that? It's so funny. But you can see where I just truly had messed it up. But I absolutely love doing that, and I really do. I mean, you see my old little thing there, bless. But yeah, this is from the 25k topic. Simone started this trip down memory lane, so thank you, Simone. People walking past like, what is this guy doing? There I am again. Another bumper. Then it was literally clean all that off. Then it was straight up the top, sort the bumper out, and then straight back down again, put it back on. Boom. So there's that before and after. Look at her go. Absolute superstar. So yeah, I did so much on that car. That was a sad casualty. And then I got the Maestro after that. And the Maestro was just so funny. I did the keyhole method as well on that same road. You can see it there when I'm doing it. So funny. Let's go back to the chat. So thank you, Evis Music. Good job on watching those videos. Appreciate you. It's nice to finally do something live and just sort of have a trip down memory lane and answer a few questions. We also debunked something at the start, which is basically I was receiving a few emails and stuff about a pit in Cowley where they dumped all the cars that that didn't meet the requirements, the what's it called, quality control, and then they they apparently dumped them in a big pit and covered them over. So yeah, we found out that wasn't true fairly fast. And I spoke to a lot of the people that worked there at the time, and they said never heard of it. There was a quarry they used to store them at, but they didn't. They never did that. So yeah. Anyway, we've got a lovely bit of video. The free Rover 75, believe it or not. Ah yes, the Cortina. Our Cortina is gone. So I'll probably make a video on this at some point, but I'm going to be honest, that car really did rub me up the wrong way. Do I miss the Maestro? Yes, Simone, I really miss the Maestro. We'll talk about the Maestro then, shall we? So I just got, let's look at my random stuff. Yeah, I used to learn a lot of national anthems on guitar as well. So, yeah, you've probably just seen that, that's fine. So when I used to play guitar a lot, I used to say, oh, well, I'll learn this, and then you can incorporate that sort of stuff. But let's have a look at some stuff. Right. The Maestro, yeah, I absolutely adore it. So, funny thing about the Maestro, this poor little girl's still on the road because she's gorgeous. And here's me driving it, go get it. And then I did I capture my reaction of, oh my gosh, look at it. Did I capture my reaction? So we're driving up. Oh, that's me just getting it. So, yeah, so there we are. Look at that extra sign. There she is. Look at her there. So when I first laid my eyes on her, look at her there. And he had a lovely Triumph 2000, the facelift. So why do I have so many shorts, political shorts? Yeah, so I have so many good memories of that car. Look at all that rubbish there. The only real rubbish is the Maestro. So yeah, I got this old girl. We'll play this while I talk about her. She was a lovely old thing. I mean, God, look how dirty my jeans were. Yeah, so I got her. So pleased with it. The exhaust had fallen off when I bought it. Drove her back to Scunthorpe. She then lived in a what is it called? She lived in a horse yard for a little bit while I finished her off and got rid of the cheap 375. The 375, which I had to stay in the world's worst Airbnb to go get. And then what happened was I sorted all of her out, drove around for ages, and people would literally take the mick out of this car. She was so adorable, but what kept happening was I'd drive her to, let's say, I don't know, I drove her to my old, I used to work at a school, so I used to work at school, and the kids would laugh at the Maestro. The kids would legitimately laugh at the poor old little Maestro, Mimi the Maestro. And I just loved her. She was so good, and she had a good heart, and she was absolutely brilliant. So I'll just quickly go back. Bloody shorts is just so full of it. I mean, I'm getting like the best of the Bushisms and everything. Yeah, so Simone on that. On the lovely Cortina. So she... basically, there's a few things that you guys didn't see. So what you didn't see is I tried to get her to another show, and what happened with her, and we'll just put her in the background for context. And let's just see. Yep, there she is. There she is on my. This is a really good video. I don't often say that, but she was. This was when we bought her. I bought her for Katie, so my partner. She really wanted a Cortina Mark III. Apologies for the terrible lighting. But she'd basically been sat around in a barn in like a garage or lock-up for ages. Still got the same haircut. I need to get the start changed. So yeah, so we bought the lovely Cortina. So, good quality brochure. So we bought the Cortina, did a few things with it. I did the car plugs at the back of the engine. I did everything I could. I did the brakes. I did all the stuff. That car really did teach me a lot. But what it also taught me is maybe something that old, you shouldn't try to drive a lot. especially when you don't really know what you're on about. And at the time, I kind of didn't really know what I was on about in terms of Cortinas. So she had a few little problems with her, mainly rust related. So what happened is we just did a load of work to her, and we couldn't get to a show. So I'd done that car plug, I'd done everything, and then wham, all of a sudden the next problem hit. It was an electrical problem. So again, electrics on these cars are simple. I fixed it, and then I realised I'd had enough. Katie had just gotten the new MX-5. Well, I think it was Beans she had at the time, the green MX-5 that I showed you in one of my videos. She'd just gotten him, and the Cortina was kind of sitting outside, and I just thought, you know what, she's proverbially taking a massive dump on my head too many times now. I've had enough. I really want a new daily because the 75 is starting to suffer a bit. So I'll get rid of her and I'll get a Range Rover. So we sold her on, and she ended up in the TV series Lockerbie, which is pretty damn good. So something that I rolled around on a driveway in minus temperatures ended up on a show. So I'm really pleased about that. You can see some of the rust issues there, and they went far deeper than that. But I learned a lot, and who's to fault me for, and us and everybody for having such a fantastic time with such a silly little car. And I still love Cortinas. And yeah, it's a shame that I think though, Simone, this lovely thing will get to meet your lovely Cortina as well, TC. So yeah, she's been a little film star, and now she's with, I think it's Ollie in the Mark III club, because he just was absolutely in love with her, and then ended up buying her off of the producer, off of the guy that ran the club. Who ran the actual film thing. So yeah, she's gone to a far better place with somebody. I think he's got 3, hasn't he, in total? So he definitely knows what he's on about, as opposed to me, who doesn't. I do like Fords, but my issue kind of with Fords is there's always some sort of Ford tax you have on stuff. Should put this on for background noise. There's always some sort of Ford tax you have on Fords, and it's just, they kind of got on my nerves a bit. The Cortina Mark III is not so much, but anything that had a Pinto engine just ruined me financially. So, you just I kind of got to the point where I was like, there's not really any point in me keeping her much longer. This is an old video, by the way, of my Vitesse and this practicality test, because as a I'm not a former automotive journalist, but I fancied myself as a really awful automotive journalist back in the day. So I did a practicality test on the Austin Maestro, put its capacity on there with some epic editing, and we shoved the sofa in the back of it for a bit of a laugh. It's just so stupid. Would you ever own a 70s BL car, Tom? 100% yes, one day. So I've always wanted a what is it called? An Austin Allegro. Always wanted an Allegro. Just don't ask me why. I think they're the cutest thing in the world. They're so pure and amazing, and I'd love to have one. Mike, you also asked another question. How is 26R coming along? Not too well. The main reason behind that is the garage that's flooded. So what happened was as I mentioned earlier, a bit of development in my area, and this is the worst video anyone's ever made. We left this sucker outside and it looked awful. So yeah, anyway, we found out my garage was flooding, and now with the 2.6, it's a real big operation. It's not. Originally, the plan was I was going to stick some carbs on it, exhaust manifold, stainless steel exhaust, see how it goes, have a bit of a laugh and stuff like that. but it snowballed into a right old project. So the car, the issue I've got now is space. If that car could go in that garage right now, I would probably be streaming me rolling around on the floor and crying because I'd bruised all my knuckles on its suspension, because I would be in there right now. But the problem I've kind of got is the garage just keeps flooding and it keeps taking loads of sediment in. So you're kind of at that point where you're like, well, if I stick it in there, and when I stick it in there, it will just be all the body panels will just come off. So I'll be in a situation where, yeah, where I'll just end up taking it to pieces and being in a bad situation. And I don't want that. I want the car. The car has a whole. It's not just a project car anymore. Is without giving away too much, it's not just a project car. The only thing I can describe it as is if you imagine sort of it's inspired by Wooden Picket. It's inspired by all of these legends. I'm trying to pay, I'm trying to pay tribute to these absolute automotive legends from back in the day with my own take on it. So we've expanded the scope of the project, to put it professionally. To put it bluntly, it's just so much, so much to do. But once the garage is sorted, if the garage is not sorted in a month, luckily I'm in a position where I could probably find somewhere to rent, if there was anywhere anyway around here. Get something, and then boom, I'll just get cracking on with it. So yeah, it's really disappointing for me because I really wanted it sorted for the first NEC of this year, but it will be sorted for the second one. So there is the reason with the 2600 why it's sort of fallen by the wayside a little bit is I have another project which is very time sensitive, and it's something that you guys will absolutely love, hopefully. It's something that's going to cost a lot of money and time, and it involves me spending a week in Longbridge. That's all I'm saying. No more than that. So you need to stay tuned for that. So yeah, so that's very time sensitive. It involves a lot of filming equipment. I mean, you talking filming equipment, this is the sort of thing that I used to have, this smashed up GoPro. And now we film predominantly with the bits that we do film with this Fuji X-T20. I'm going to be moving to something like an XH2 or something like that. So yeah, so it's got to be done right, and it's got to be done properly. So I've got the studio lights and all that sort of stuff. The next phase of this thing is going to be pretty big for me anyway. It's a bit of a passion project. I know, for example, if you look at it YouTube wise, it probably won't get as many views as some of the other stuff I've done, but I don't care because this is a real like passion thing I love, and I think it will be for you guys and for me. It will be the longest goodbye is all I'm going to say. It will be the longest goodbye that you will ever see. So that's all I'll go. And if you can guess in the chat, I'm happy for you to guess. Other question. Let's have a look. Do I think I'll sell 2600R? No, I'll never sell it. I have to complete it. Oh, this video, like I just look like a right idiot. So no, I don't think I'll ever sell it. I've got so much on with it. It doesn't really need that much in terms of parts now, because I've got all the fuel system, I've got all the diff, I've got everything, cooling system, everything, you name it, fueling, I've got it all. It's just the last parts I need: suspension, front bumper, and then I just need to paint it, and that's really it. The head will come off obviously and be rebuilt, but that's about it. There's not really that much left to do. No, Matthew, I'm not leaving. Far from it. It's a bit. It's the next. Because if you look at my videos, there's been phases in these videos where you had the first ever ones where it was just sort of as it was. Then I stepped it up again. And then it will continue. Though, I mean, if you look at this video, this was a very disjointed approach to filmmaking. Fun fact: this video, so I had to move because what happened is I locked the keys in the boot. Now, if you best way to say it, Matthew, is there's a Rover documentary with that name. That's all I'll say. I've given away too much. But I've hinted at it throughout the stream in terms of, things like people, talking to people and things like that. So, yeah. It was an interesting choice of clothes. That's all I'll say. Matthew has asked, Mike with the Moggy has, for the last 5 years, it cost me 14k. But it's a financial crime of passion, though, isn't it, Mike? No, that's no worries, Matthew. I'm very cryptic, so don't worry about it. No, Mike. Unfortunately, so that collection ended up being spread out. So there's a few for sale though. If anybody is interested, I'll be making a post about that. So, well, on this video, I locked the keys in the boot like a moron. Like if you've owned more than one MGF, you've done this before. So yeah, you kind of end up like that. Yeah. It's not to do with the Marina Marauder. No, as much as I wish it was, no. I'd love to find that car, but I think it's long gone. So there might be a bit of a, how do I describe it, like a missing in action update. Where is the 5 millionth Rover 75? Where is the 75 Coupe? I'm in contact with the owner of that car. Where is all that sort of stuff? So, yeah. My chair is very squeaky. I've kind of noticed that. There's a recording. I had to re-record something once because it squeaked. It sounded terrible. Oh, nice, Ian. Yeah, I used to absolutely fly around in this MGF, Matthew. What used to happen is I'd go to this takeaway called Wild Rice on London Road in Sheffield, and that was a couple of miles away from my house, and I couldn't do it in any other car. And the reason why I couldn't is because of exactly what you're seeing on screen, the mid-engine. So I'd stick my takeaway in the boot, and it would always be as warm as it was when I picked it up when I got home. MGF hack. So if you're a takeaway delivery driver and you want a car that will keep things warm, get an MGF. It had an X-Power exhaust in it, which was a Yanspeed creation as well. What other YouTubers do you follow? I follow Hub Not Furious Driving, All Things Alex, amongst others. I think I follow everyone, to be honest with you. With the job and with what I do outside of work, which is this, I don't really have a lot of time. But I tend to, I like Steph. I drive a classic. I actually went to an award show with her, which was pretty funny. Drove the Proton back from London. Because I'm not sure, did I post it on here? I might have done. I came runner-up in the Royal Automobile Club Historic Awards for Young Achiever. So I didn't quite achieve enough, but I achieved something. So that Rustival was nominated as well. So me and Steph travelled down together. She bought me He bought me the world's biggest bag of ready salted crisps that I didn't really eat. So I'm sorry about that, Steph. It's probably still in your car. But yeah, Alex is. You all have great channels, to be honest with you, Simone. Alex is, after the incident in Asda with Alex, I don't know about. You should ask her about that and why her plates are banned from Asda. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I watch a lot of people. The situation I'm sort of in with YouTube, I tend to, in terms of inspiration anyway, I tend to draw a lot of inspiration from what I grew up on as a kid, because as you can probably imagine, I definitely watched things like Noddy, Rory the racing car. No, I didn't. I watched Air Crash Investigation, Seconds from Disaster. We're talking every single car-related documentary, everything. Plane documentaries, MD-80, all these things, DC-10, American Airlines 191, all of these documentaries shaped what I do now, and I find it fascinating. Well, yeah, I'm very into aeroplanes, as you can imagine. What's my job? I can't really disclose that. It's classified information, Matthew. But you're all right for asking, so don't worry about it. What else is there? Don't know how we survived the 70s. No, I don't, to be honest with you. The research that I've done into the 70s, it was an interesting time. There was a lot in terms of, you've got Straubs, you've got all these brilliant bands and everything, and culture, and the just in general, the whole thing. I think the political situation was a bit of a state. I think you've said it. As a kid, it was probably amazing. I can imagine it, but the TV was brilliant. The technology was brilliant because not everyone didn't have a bloody smartphone, and we didn't get, some of the stuff online like we do now. But yeah, the economic situation, the job outlook, the turmoil, all of that sort of stuff. I mean, there was the bin strikes as well. A lot of people don't talk about the bin strikes, and I've seen some of the footage where there's just waste piled up. And would that fly now? No, it wouldn't. Every time someone says they've raved in the 90s, I always think about the Essex Boys, because I've seen Rise of the Foot Soldier like about 6 times. Yeah. Glad I was born in 72. Had a childhood in the 80s. Clubbing in the 90s, great times. Yeah, I was born in 97, so yeah, that's it. Winter of Discontent. That was another major thing, and you got to think there was the National Coal Board. There was all of these crazy situations that, I'm gonna be honest, and this makes me sound old, but a lot of people now just wouldn't be able to cope with. I can remember when this was obviously back in like 2011. There was a power cut. There's a power cut in my neighbourhood in Scunthorpe. I know, right? We're power in Scunthorpe. There was a power cut in our neighbourhood in Scunthorpe, and all the lights went out. Yeah, I am an average, same as my coupe. So we had a power cut, and it was like the world had ended. And this was in 2011. So if you think about that now, let's say we had the winter of discontent 2026. Some people can't even deal with the internet being off. You know what I mean? So yeah, it wouldn't be very good. So yeah, I never went clubbing. I've never been clubbing. There's not really my thing. Must be a bit posh for Scunthorpe to get power. Well, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, one of the highlights of the year, when I used to live in Westcliff, it was called. If you've ever seen the thing Skint, was a Vauxhall Nova being burnt on the hill in front of my house when it was bonfire night. It was always something going off. So, you know, you'd always have everybody would be. There was the annual bike exchange. Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, I mean, there was no real scene or anything in Scunthorpe of anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, we had I wouldn't even say annual. We had the weekly bike exchange, and no, it's not something that you would do at the village hall. It was just people's bikes getting nicked. So yeah, we had it was an interesting old time, but that was what council estates were like back then. They're not as polished as they are now. So history does repeat itself. Yes, I agree with that, but I would hope by the time the days that you speak of come, there will be some people who have the power of hindsight on their hands. That's all I'll say. In the 70s when NYC lost power and the whole city went mad. That sounds fascinating. New York with no power. Power outage in the mid-70s. I'm gonna 1977. The New York blackout of 1977, is that what you're talking about? Right for the German border. Let's just not watch Top Gear while we watch this. While we live stream. Oh no, I've clicked on the wrong channel. I want to go on my channel. Can you imagine? He's just going to live stream Top Gear. He watches TV. I watch my YouTube. When we had a power cut, he was on phone to the power company freaking out. Oh yeah, that's it, Mike. What else? Yeah, there's the New York City blackout of 1977. That sounds Southern Queens. I so want to go to America. Still. I'll always think America, obviously, because I'm a bit of a I'm very westernized. I love America. I love the UK. I love Western Europe. I love the whole world. But yeah, I'll lean towards that. The BBC will be at your door, Tom. Well, they did try to they have put so many copyright strikes on me, well, copyright claims. I've had to sort of duck and dive and dodge them all, which is annoying. But to be honest with you, what do you call it? Remember that was looting in New York. If you are going to America, just whatever from here, don't visit NC or LA. Yeah, I was kind of thinking of going to like Pennsylvania or somewhere like that. I'm obviously talking statewide. I wanted to go to either Pennsylvania or somewhere like that, just somewhere. Yeah, the longer by. Tom emigrates to the USA and finds a BL car and does it up. I'd love to. The ultimate fantasy for me, if money was no object in terms of video production, I would buy a Rover Sterling from the US, so a Sterling 800. I would buy a Rover 3500, the SD one from back then, and me and Katie would go on a road trip across America from one side, from the east to west coast, or west to east, and we'd film it. That would be epic. That would be a very good series. That would be really good. Yeah, it's a very long way of it. See, this is another thing as well. I absolutely love you guys making comments on videos. LW on the radio is long wave. It's a very useful tool if you want to listen to the cricket. Yeah, that was back when I didn't know much about radios. So the trip that I did in my 75, I'd like to emulate that again one day in something else, because I'd just love to do it again, but film it, because I only really have the second-hand account for you guys, which is, it's not really that great, to be honest with you, because the second-hand account of it, while all well and good, you can't really tell the story at the time. that well. It's just not, it's just not really that good. Let's have this on as some background. Yeah, 100%, yeah. I'd love to do that. I'd like to get something else and take it somewhere. The original plan was to do something with this 75 where I took it to the Western Sahara. Because I did that 5,000 mile trip, and I'd like to... It must involve the 75 in one way or another, because the 75 is the big... I mean, you see how old this is. Wow, I've even got that original radio in it. The 75 is the big mileage thing, and it is the most... oh God, look how cheap diesel was back then. Hold on, let's go back. Oh my God, look at that. Wow. That's incredible. When was this filmed? 4 years ago. Oh, time's changed. Yeah, I know, Matthew, but that's part of the the charm. That's part of it. And she'll get tripped right. But yeah, when I did that big road trip, I always regretted not filming it. But at the same time, it was one of them things you sort of had to be there to believe it, see it to believe it. Yeah, £1.50, I know, because I only use super diesel, extreme diesel in the Rover, and the in the Range Rover, and yeah, I think I spend £300 on fuel a month. It's horrific. But yeah. No, I'd like to do another one. I'd really love to do another road trip. Somebody asked me about another thing. What was the question? Somebody asked me about a Triumph Estate, but I can't find it. Where is it? I remember seeing it. I've queued it up in my head. Someone asked me about a Triumph Estate and would I ever make a video on it. Yes. So I have plans for... Because a bit of a factoid on the videos is none of these are actually the full story of these cars. So what I think with that series, the Truth series, that people might have misconstrued, and it's fine because it is a bit ambiguous. That is just explaining how it got from point A to point B and why it got there. The next stage is going to be the story of the cars, and I don't think I can do that from, watching archival footage, reading things, and I've got my books, I've got all my other stuff, and talking to people. I need to genuinely be with the car and theme it. It can't just be a camera, car. Yeah, I love it. It can't just be that. And that's just my preference. There will be videos in person on cars coming very soon. It's just the equipment is needed to film it to the standard that I would want. So I'll always, yeah, because I've tried to do filming with cars in person before, and I kind of butchered it, to be quite frank with you, because I wasn't this because you probably noticed it's I'm a lot different now in videos than what I was back then. I was very starstruck by these cars, and I still will be. I'll always be starstruck by these cars. But, like this one, I was absolutely starstruck by this. I mean, I absolutely butchered the video, but I was starstruck by it. And it is an amazing car. Of course, that keeps making an appearance. It's really annoying me. Yeah, but now I know a good amount about these cars, and there are people that have forgotten more than I know. People like James Taylor, David Knowles, Keith Adams, all these legends of the... I think there's Graham Bishop as well. There's all sorts. So on the books, that leads me on to that topic, Mike. What BL books do you have? Wonder if they're the same as mine. I've got majority of the James Taylor ones. I'm trying to get the Roy Axe book by Keith, but I can't seem to find it anywhere at the moment. I'll probably find it. Yeah, I'll see you soon, Simone. I'll probably be hopping off in a few. I've got the Michael Edwards back from the brink. You kind of have to have that. I've got James Taylor's new book on order. He's got a brilliant book on the P8 as well. That's coming out. So you need to have a look at that on Amazon. So yeah, I might have the same as you. I've got loads of books about BL cars and things like that. See you, Simone. Yeah, well, I'll give it a go, Mike. Other books I've got the British Leyland Chronicles series. They're really good, especially the export book. Yeah, that's my current one, Mike. I'm having a good read of that because it tells the story from the inside, which is what I really want, because you can understand how the decisions are made then. Because it's really what I find really easy, and a lot of American YouTubers do this. I don't have the 75 book, I don't think, believe it or not. That's the one I don't have. Yeah, so what I keep finding is a lot of American YouTubers, and fair enough, this is sort of the, either maybe they're just not as nerdy as I am about it, but they'll just come in and go, British Leyland, all the cars are terrible, they were competing with each other, everybody went on strike, and then it all went bust, and now Britain doesn't make cars anymore. It's so much more intricate than that. I try to sort of put it across in my videos, but 20 minutes will only get you so far. I mean, I've done everything on communist involvement in unions to the measured pay system. Yeah, I know. I do have 2 Haynes manuals though, Mike. I do have 2 Haynes manuals. That's all I can say. Maybe I'm compensating. Yeah, I do need to get that though. I do agree with you. I do have the 800 one as well. So yeah, that's what I find. So these books are really, 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 really useful, especially the James Taylor ones, because James Taylor is a fantastic author and a brilliant. I mean, what is he not? He's like a human. He's like a human switch. He's like a human Swiss Army knife of knowledge. So, yeah, there's all sorts. There's another book coming out. I cannot remember who is making it. I will probably do something on it when it does come out. But he's making it it's basically like a fantasy. It's fiction, but it's based on being a BMC worker at the time of the merger, I'm pretty sure, and it sounds blooming amazing. I've never heard of it, and I'm pretty sure he's doing it in collaboration with the Austin Apprentices Foundation. So it's all going to be, while it is fiction, it is based on fact, if that makes sense. So it's based on the timeline is correct. That might be right, it might be wrong, but I'll let you guys know if it is. If it is wrong, I'll correct myself. But yeah, there's so much more to do. There's so much more to cover. Yeah, no, I get that as well. The parallel between BL and GM. People keep drawing parallels between British Leyland and Stellantis. Yeah, a little bit, but some of it not so much. If they would be willing to kill off brands, I think it would be, kill off brands in certain markets. I think it would be advantageous for them, is all I'll say. While I wouldn't like to see Alfa Romeo, Lancia, and all these sort of brands die off, some of it is a bit much. I think they do incredibly well in their home markets, but do you really see Alfa Romeos over here anymore? As painful as it is, you don't. Not really. I see a few Stelvios, I think they're called, but that's about it. And even them, I think they're just rebodies. So, and it's a shame. I used to see a lot of Julias as well. Is your bedroom a shrine to British Leyland? No, this is a separate room. So this is like the studio room. So I've got all of my gear here for all my stuff. I've got magazines everywhere, today's cars, all that sort of stuff. I even have, it's important as well to sort of look not just at the actual magazines, but look, you know, back in the day. You've got, I'm not sure if you can see it, Austin Healey, good old advert there. This edition of Cars and Conversions is from 1965. So you've got to pay your dues, if that makes sense. You've got to really... This one's from 1978. This is another car and conversion. And I love the... if you look through this in here... I mean, look at this. Fibre Sport Custom Conversions. Look at how cool that is. That is pretty epic. So, there's so much to... I mean, look at all this. We need to have a... if you guys are up for it, we need to have a live reading of the magazines. I mean, look at that. That's a TR7 there, TR8 probably. We need to set up the camera and do a bit of a reading. All these, like, just amazing old stuff. You know, it's just... I mean, I tend to... I think I'm probably going to see if I can get my hands on even more stuff for British Leyland. And in general, the car culture back then. I mean, this is a good page here. So we should probably have a bit of a look at this properly at some point. But, I mean, you've got all these old things. A Lotus Cortina Mark II, little boy in front of it. You've got, I mean, look at that. Look at all these, a little MGB. Another MGB again. A little Elan. You know, you've got so much cool stuff in here. And you just miss, it just gets missed. It gets missed. It's a shame. You've even got the Ford Fiesta in this one. Look at that. It's fascinating stuff. It really is. You just don't see it in people in these magazines that people have collected for years and years and years. They don't go, oh god, this one's stuck together. Oh my god, it was stuck together on the quality soft tops bit. What kind of filthy animal owned this? Disgraceful. Or maybe it was stuck together because of these epic prices of all of these cool ass cars, like a TR7 for £2,600. Yeah, this one's a bit. Yeah. Do I ever watch the old BL adverts on YouTube? Yes, I watch a lot of that sort of stuff. I watch all the old documentaries. I have a big library of old adverts from all various different countries, you know, from Innocenti all the way over to, you know, I mean, there's just so much in terms of the adverts that's lost. I'm planning on a trip to the British Motor Museum at some point in the next couple of weeks to see if they've got anything that I can have a look at. Discovered, yeah, Dad's car mag collection. So I just buy magazines all the time. So I've got a stack here. In this stack of them, I'll just quickly just pick up a stack. This is one stack. I mean, it's like, I just love all the stuff at the back as well. All things that some of you will recognise, and some of you, you know, everything. It's just great. So, yeah, and there's plenty of British Leyland stuff in these as well. Then look at that. It's the TR8 or TR7. It's a TR7, but I bet he's got a V8 in it. Yeah, you see all sorts in these, and it's just brilliant. I mean, look at that old Cortina dash. Or is it a Cortina? It looks like it to me. Look at that. It's just great. What else have we got? Oh, look at that. we've got double sunroofs on the Rover SD1. That's cool. So you've just got... History is fascinating. Cars are fascinating. I'll always love cars. I mean, you've even got something in here about the big freeze. Beat the freeze competition. I mean, look at the snow back then. It is pretty crazy. So... yeah. We might... have to have another one of these where I'm a bit better prepared, I think, because it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have had a good time. So, first ever live stream, proper live stream. I hope it's all worked out pretty well. I hope you've enjoyed a bit of a trip down memory lane with me and these various cars that, you know, I've had a look at. So... there's so much random stuff on here as well. Yeah, well, yeah, Matthew, I've heard of some of the stuff that you see that from the 70s, especially the big snow. I mean, we sit here crying every time we get like a millimetre of snow. So that is the end of the stream, everybody. So make sure to like the video if you liked it, share if you want other people to see it, make sure to subscribe if you're not already. But without further delay, I'm going to press the end stream button. Just a quick one last from Joel, great channel, British car fan from Florida. Just could get, yeah,